I'm Dr. Lisa Palmer, Dr. Mama Bear, coming to you live from Central Florida on Crazy Illness, Queen of Q, and Quantum Nutrition Testing Level 2. So let me know. I had some connection problems last week. Let me know you guys can hear me. Let me know you guys can see me. I know Instagram's working, but last time Facebook was having difficulties. And so crazy illness, what is going on? There have been way more diagnoses. Hey, Alyssa, of crazy conditions. One of the crazy conditions, and hopefully this talking about this doesn't get me, thanks, Alyssa, doesn't get me into social media jail, we'll put it like that, is SADS, sudden adult death syndrome. SADS, that's a new diagnosis. And it means, so sudden means that just kind of happens unexpectedly. Adult happens to people over the age of 18. Hey, Gina. Death, they drop dead in a syndrome, right? There's another syndrome that has to do with multiple areas on children that are inflamed. And so there's these new diagnoses that are popping up. And a diagnosis, hey, Tina, a diagnosis, all it is a group of symptoms that someone puts a name on, right? So for some reason, these adults are, adults in their 40s are dropping dead suddenly. Hey, Robin. Hi, Jonathan. And I would categorize it as a crazy illness, right? Like, why does that happen? Why do people get sick? Why can you have, two kids in one classroom? One is, playing sports and running around the playground and has no trouble learning and is doing really well in life. And the other kid, chronic ear infections, green snotty boogers, misses days of school, has tons of fevers, can't play in the playground because they're exhausted and like appears to be under distress. Why does that happen? Why can you have two kids grow up in the same area and have same school system, same class? Why can two kids be so very different with their health? Hey, Carolyn. Why does that happen? Well, the body doesn't like a couple things. The body definitely doesn't like chemicals. Where do chemicals come from? Well, chemicals come from the air we breathe. So what does that mean? Well, like it's not like you're inhaling bleach. I hope you're not, right? But whatever we're inhaling. So, the things you put in your wall that smell good, or you burn that smell good, or the stuff you put in your dryer to make your clothes smell good. Those smell good things, unless you're using essential oils, right, Robin? The things that you use, they're toxic, carcinogenic chemicals. When you inhale them, that goes into your system. Chemicals get stored in fat tissue. Chemicals get stored in brain tissue. Chemicals get stored in the umbilical cord. There's thousands and thousands of carcinogenic chemicals found in the umbilical cord. Oh, the umbilical cord isn't just like this computer cord that connects mama to baby. The umbilical cord is how the baby gets oxygen, and how the baby gets nutrients, and how the baby gets immune system, and how the baby gets lots of things from mama. But unfortunately, and I'm not saying this to make mamas feel bad, they also get chemicals that mama had. That's why some people feel so good when they are pregnant. It's because some of the toxins are leaving mama. Chemicals also get into us by eating them. Our food, whether it's organic or not organic, is sprayed with pesticides and herbicides, glyphosate being one of the most damaging ones. We know Roundup, it was proven in court. We know Roundup has been linked to non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, right? A type of cancer of the lymph nodes. And so you eat chemicals, you drink chemicals. So Adam was talking about water. Yeah, there's chemicals in our water. If you go to www.ewg.org, so I'll put this in, some of you guys can see it, www.ewg.org, and you look under the tap water database, you can actually look up your county's water and see how many toxins are in your city water. If you drink the water, or cook with the water, or bathe with the water, you're absorbing chemicals, and those chemicals have a negative effect. So you can inhale the chemicals, you can eat the chemicals, you can drink the chemicals, you can bathe in the chemicals, you can willingly use the chemicals. So medications are not made out of plants. So if you're using herbals, like we use herbs in our practice to help people heal, they don't have chemicals and metals, or they have very, very little, depending on how they're grown. And actually, the companies that we use scan these chemicals, scan these products for chemicals and metals and bacteria and nasty stuff. And if the levels are high, or if the product is contaminated, they won't use it. And that's why I love the companies that we get supplements from. So you can eat them. They can get injected in you. You can willingly take them in medication. So chemicals are really detrimental. They negatively affect brain function, eye function, heart function, digestion, development, hitting milestones for baby. I mean, there's so much stuff, and they're everywhere. They're in our air, they're in our water, they're in our food, they're in our houses. Our furniture off gases chemicals. Our carpets and bedding off gas chemicals. Babies' nightgowns, babies' pajamas is sprayed with fire retardant. Fire retardant, right? How many babies around open flames? Like, that's what I want to know. And so the pajamas are sprayed with fire retardant. Your body will absorb that fire retardant. My staff was really awesome, and we went to honor our local fire department and educate them on chemicals. And many people in the fire department are very aware of how many chemicals they're exposed to. Unfortunately, a lot of people in that profession end up with nasty cancers because they're breathing in chemicals melting in fires. They're breathing in chemicals being burnt off cars and car fires. They're breathing in almost like how one of my associate senior practitioners, Renee, she was stationed in Iraq, and they had burn pits. And in the burn pits, they burned everything. They burned computers, food, clothing, anything that they would typically throw away, they burned. And those people, our servicemen and women, inhaled the toxins from that. So that is one of the reasons why you can have two kids grow up in the same area. Mama had a high toxic load. The other mama didn't have a high toxic load. And it has an effect on health. It has an effect on the developing baby. It has an effect on your kids. It has an effect on you. So some of these crazy illnesses, and I'm treading lately because I'm trying to keep these platforms open so I can educate on them. I'm encountering more and more kids, babies, adults over the last couple years that have been exposed to different chemicals, and now they're suffering the consequences. And it's awful. Everything from birth defects to inflammation of tissues to cardiac problems to autoimmune is flared, to fertility issues, to more people that I am aware of have had lost family members due to decisions they made regarding chemicals. So that's what I wanted to talk about with crazy illness. Now, it's not just chemicals; it's also heavy metals. You can all the ways you can get chemicals, you can also get metals. And so the Queen of Q, this is so funny. This is what I was recently called by a colleague. He called me the Queen of Q, the Queen of Quantum. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's hilarious. I just think it's funny. And the reason why he mentioned this is because I teach other practitioners how to help find the cause of people's problems. I teach other doctors and nurses and naturopaths, acupuncturists, teachers, different professions as well, moms, dads. I teach them how to use a technology called quantum nutrition testing to figure out the cause of people's issues. And the issues are in their tissues, right? Hi, Tati. Hi, Jessica. how do you go from, I have parents that bring their kids into me and they wonder like what went wrong for my kid to have chronic ear infections, or for my kid to have digestive issues, or for my kid to have stomach pain, or for my kid to be on the spectrum, or for my kid to not hit milestones. And 9 times out of 10, it was some kind of toxin that got introduced. And I don't even like to say it got introduced because it seems so mild. In some cases, that toxin was forced upon that child and it had a very negative consequence. There are ways of detoxing toxins. So to me, the first thing is prevention, right? If you wouldn't eat it, you probably shouldn't put it on your kid. You probably shouldn't put it on their skin. You probably shouldn't use it in your household, right? So essential oils, many of them you can consume orally, right? Robin, is there any essential oil that you can't consume orally? I'm just thinking about that. And so they have amazing, not only healing properties, but cleaning properties, right? One of my favorite ones being frankincense. One of my other favorite ones being thieves. There's a reason why the 3 wise men gave Jesus frankincense. Another name for frankincense is myrrh. So he gave them frankincense, gold, frankincense, and myrrh and gold. Now, I'm not a Bible or historic religious document translator, but I do know that the Bible has many, many versions. And actually, my husband and I were talking about this. We're like, why? Why does the Bible have so many versions? Like there's the King James and there's the new this and there's the that. And, like I remember the children's Bible, like I remember growing up and wanting to my children, I just thought the children's Bible was for little kids, right? Even though I've read it more times than I read adult Bibles. Adult Bibles, I don't know if you would. And when I got older and I was in Bible study as an adult, I was like, well, I don't want to keep using my children's Bible. I don't want to. That seems weird. It's for kids. And then there were so many different interpretations of for a non-children's Bible. I'm like, why are there so many translations, right? And so we have to remember that. And I'm not beating up religion. I'm not being blasphemous or trying to offend anyone. That's not my goal. But it's very interesting in the different versions of the Bible. And the Torah, I don't know as much. I did go to my fair share of bat mitzvahs and bar mitzvahs to the point where I almost knew I don't know the proper term, the cantor, what they sing during a bat mitzvah. And so it's interesting to see in biblical texts that Jesus was offered herbs. Why was that a present for a baby? Well, because they have healing properties, right? That's why that happened. And so we know, I think everybody would agree that herbs have healing properties. That is not countering the Food and Drug Administration. That's not countering the CDC. That's not making false claims or trying to, I forget the word that I'm looking for, but like, I'm not trying to state anything false. Like we know that plants were put on this earth to consume and that they can have healing properties. And what's crazy is these days that if you want to make a health claim, I guess that's what I was looking for. You want to make a health claim that this herb can help with this, that's like actually illegal, right? Like you can't claim that this herb helps with this condition. Isn't that crazy? Even though that we know herbs have healing properties. It's crazy. And that a lot of medications are based on herbal properties. So it's just insanity. So Robin says there are some essential oils that you may not want to go through your esophagus and you can put in a veggie cap to go directly to the digestive system. And Young Living is safe for ingestion, but may not be safe for other brands. Cool. Oh, cancer. So I did say it right. So the Hebrew cantor. And so it's really interesting. Robin's saying from the Bible, there's essential oils like cypress and hyssop and frankincense and myrrh and more. And they were given to us not only to help with anointing, but healing and cleansing. which I think is really cool. And so, yes, Adam, I totally agree that plant is medicine and meat is food, and so we have the ability on this planet to, with different healing modalities, we choose to use quantum nutrition testing to not guess or put everything as a label, as a syndrome, or to suppress the symptoms, right? So, like if you have a headache, the school of thought with medicine is you suppress the pain from the headache. If you have diarrhea, Pepto-Bismol is to suppress the diarrhea, right? And so some people think that diarrhea means you're sick. Diarrhea does not mean that you're sick. Diarrhea means that your body's trying to cleanse from something. Maybe you ate some rotten food and your body wants to get rid of that food fast, right? And that would be one way. It'd either come out the top or come out the bottom. It doesn't mean you're sick. It means your body is actually really healthy and is trying to express poison. If you were to pick up a parasite, so I've had friends travel to different countries. I've had people here in the US and they pick up a parasite from their favorite sushi or from the bacon that wasn't cooked all the way or the pork chop that was on the rare side. Guys, you do not want to eat rare pork. That is a very, very bad idea. I love sushi. I haven't had sushi in at least 15 years, and it saddens me because I really, really love sushi, but I will not eat raw meat. Parasites from fish are nasty parasites, and they're so annoying to get rid of. And they can cause headaches, migraines, floaters in the eyes, nausea, vomiting, bloating, constipation, diarrhea, nightmares, grinding of the teeth, hair loss. I mean, it's just crazy. So, quantum nutrition testing, I just had the most amazing practitioners down here in Florida for our next level that was launched, level 2. And we talked about deeper techniques to help patients heal. We talked about why cases don't get better, the reasons why cases don't get better, or why someone could be doing well and all of a sudden they're not doing well. Why does that happen? We talked about different methods of testing to actually test to see if something is irritating a joint or something is irritating a particular organ. We did deeper testing utilizing chakras or energy centers in the body. We had guest speakers on fertility, on something else, and on a homeopathic product line. Just really, really cool stuff. Jessica saying when she worked in restaurants, you should have seen the worms and the swordfish. Yeah. One of my patients I work with today, her husband was a professional saltwater fisherman down in South Florida, and she was telling me all the time that they would eat fish that they just caught, which is amazingly fresh, but they could see the parasites in the fish. If you can see the parasites in the fish and you consume that fish raw, guess what? You just ate a parasite, right? Robin says, ew. Let's see. So really cool stuff. So I just wanted to pop on and see if you guys have any questions for me on some of the stuff that's happening right now on quantum nutrition testing, what that is. Some of you guys came to level 2. So if you want to share any of your wins, you can totally do that. And then I know some of you guys on here very much want to train in quantum. So some students had the realization that they currently have a career that they love, but they're being called to help at a deeper level with the people in their lives, their family members, their friends, their coworkers. Carolyn's asking, is it the same thing with shrimp? So anything that is not cooked can have parasites. When you cook that thoroughly, meaning there's no uncooked flesh, then you will kill the parasites. So if you're eating something that is cooked thoroughly, and it's not red or seeping or whatever, seeping, what a horrible word with that, then it is the parasites are dead. You can so there's some people that think that plant-based is best, which I don't agree with. You can get parasites from vegetables. You can get parasites from fruit. And so what do you do with that? Like most people don't cook their fruit. That's an interesting point. With vegetables, if you're going to have a salad, you want to make sure that that salad is washed properly. And my vote is that you put some kind of acid on it, like vinegar. Vinegar is acidic acid, so the vinegar can kill the parasites, right? Or else you can get parasites from salad bars. You can get parasites from vegetables. So in most cases, people cook the meat, right? I guess this is a plug for carnivore. In most cases, people are cooking their meat. And so you're less likely to get parasites from cooked meat than you are from raw vegetables. So I'm not making friends right now. Let's see. Amanda is signed up for level 1. That's awesome, Amanda. Jeff is asking how many levels. So right now there are 3 levels. 1 and 2 have live classes, and 2's video recording from this past class will be up in its own platform. Level 3 is under construction. So my goal for level 3 is by the end of next year that we launch level 3. Are there going to be levels after that? Most likely after that, we'll have yearly get-togethers, yearly symposiums, yearly seminars, yearly whatever, where we kind of we all gather together because it's really cool to hang out with everyone, but also share cutting edge knowledge on whatever we're dealing with at that point and new tools and products to help us handle that. All right. Robin says Quantum Nutrition Seminar was awesome and she learned so much. That's awesome. And Jessica likes balsamic vinegar. Cool. All right, awesome. So if you know someone who is suffering, they do not have to suffer. If they're willing to make changes, if they're willing to have us help them find the cause of their problem, all they have to do is reach out. So our local office in Florida is called Palmer Natural Health, and we are able to service you in Central Florida. If you do not live in Central Florida, you can contact the office, and there's other programs that we can do to help you as well. All right, guys. Awesome. Well, I just wanted to pop on and say hello. I'm Dr. Lisa Palmer, Dr. Mama Bear. Good night.